the religious right, a political movement, convinced a lot of Christians in America that the two most important issues were abortion and homosexuality. Two issues that aren't really discussed in Scripture. Abortion is never mentioned. Consensual same-sex relationships are never mentioned.
What? No one's saying that these are the two most important issues. There's a difference between being the most important issues and being closed-handed issues, meaning they are non-starters. James Talarico, let's go to this. Is he straight?
We'll see.
I'll go with queer.
We'll see.
Allegedly.
We don't know. Do we?
I heard he gave Beto some besos.
Could have fooled me. Oh. Him and old Beto Francis work. They call him the old Saint Francis of Assisi.
What? Is that right?
The two together.
That
was a reach.
Yeah, it was around.
So, James Talarico, and we're going to have AG Ken Paxton on here in a little bit.
Maybe.
As of 2024, Texas was seen as a pretty solidly red state across the board. You know, President Trump won by 14. Ted Cruz won by 9. I remember everyone saying, "Oh, this is going to be the year. It's going to be Beto. Look, he kick-flipped."
Sick.
But that doesn't mean you can rely on it being red forever, especially when you look at what's going on in the state. In some cases, for example, with H-1Bs, in some cases, the fabric of the state changing quite a bit. And I think that Texas is pretty important because it's certainly not the most conservative state in the union, but it is iconic in that if Texas were to fall, to succumb to the woke virus of the left, if people still use that term, but to leftism, that would be a bad sign for the United States of America.
Yeah, massively bad.
And
it's a target right now, too.
Yes. And so right now, Democrats have pinned their hopes on also kind of those who present to be right-wing but say, but I'm reasonable, I'm center-left. They have pinned their hopes on this new man who I cannot stand and is wrong about pretty much everything theologically, James Talarico.
Beto O'Rourke came close but did not prevail, even when it appeared Democrats in Texas had some kind of momentum. Along comes Presbyterian seminarian and Democratic State Representative James Talarico. He thinks he has what it takes.
We have the hottest new candidate of 2026, Texas James Talarico.
James Talarico, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Your profile has really risen in the past year, which I can personally attest to because my father-in-law actually pitched you.
You went from being a middle school teacher to a 4-term state representative, making a name for yourself with exchanges in the State House that went viral.
James Talarico is one of the top Democrats running for U.S. Senate this year.
James Talarico, his faith, his Christian identity is clearly a big part of that. And I think when you
we'll get
look
to
at
that.
him, not just in Texas, but across the country, I think he's speaking to some of those values and some of those principles maybe more effectively than anyone else in the Democratic Party across the country.
James Talarico,
thank
you for being with us.
They must have spelled it wrong.
Yeah, they spelled it phonetically. So, former middle school teacher, apparently a Presbyterian seminarian, and he is leading Jasmine Crockett in the Senate Democrat primary. Also, James Talarico, really wants to be a dentist.
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
It's a good career.
We don't need any Democrat dolls.
That's right.
August, as of August 2025, Talarico led the Democrats who fled Texas for Illinois in an attempt to block Texas redistricting. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And then this summer, look, he's usually right, but he doesn't always get it right. Joe Rogan hinted that Talarico should run for president, and it could have just been, being polite to a guest.
All I'm pushing back on is that second step of it's always going to be this way.
Right. It doesn't have to be this way.
That is the key step.
Right.
So
that's because you need to run for president.
Yeah.
We need someone who's actually a good person.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go with that. And here's why I wouldn't lean toward good person. I can't say bad person, but someone who proactively manipulates scripture to use it as a platform and to try and justify a definitively anti-God platform, that is actually worse to me than someone who simply says, I'm an atheist. So that brings us to why he went viral this week. Some comments he made regarding theology, religion, on, I believe, the Rogan podcast, as well as a recent New York Times one, because they're in that space now.
for the past 50 years in this country, the religious right, a political movement, convinced a lot of Christians in America that the two most important issues were abortion and homosexuality. Two issues that aren't really discussed in Scripture. Abortion is never mentioned. Consensual same-sex relationships are never mentioned.
What?
It's remarkable to me that you have an entire political movement using Christianity to prioritize two issues that Jesus never talked about.
Pause really fast. First off, Gerald, that's wrong, right? Just because
wrong.
I know that, yeah.
100% wrong.
Second, no one's saying that these are the two most important issues. There's a difference between being the most important issues and being closed-handed issues, meaning they are non-starters. As a Christian, and I will tell you this is not me telling you what to think, but if you claim to be a Christian, for example, if you claim to be a Detroit Red Wing, well, you better play for the Red Wings. You better put on that jersey. You know what that means. If you claim to be a Christian, you cannot be pro-abortion, and certainly not as it exists in today's political spectrum.
And is that an issue that's being pushed solely by the right?
Right.
Like the left isn't out here trying their hardest to abort their babies?
Right. Yeah. It's just like when they go, yeah, we need to allow men in women's sports. And you go, no, we can't. They go, why are you making an issue? There's like 5 athletes. It's like, well, yeah, they all happen to hold world records, but you're the one who made it an issue. Let's continue.
They're not important. I actually think both of those issues are very important. But to focus on those two things instead of feeding the hungry and healing the sick and welcoming the stranger, three things we're told to do ad nauseum.
The church does a great job of that, by the way.
Is mind-blowing.
Government doesn't.
This in terms of the context of abortion, because before God
listen to this,
comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean,
I will.
The angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done.
Wrong.
Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is a...
She had to RSVP this?
One of our most central stories, that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that
that's the way I do it.
Human beings. That has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom.
Marriage bed's undefiled.
And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
Yeah, well, that's incorrect. Like, he should be a sign unto you, and he should bring tidings. It's not like, so Mary, are you down with this? I don't know. Too late, baby's in you. Ho, 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 ho.
I think I want to travel.
Yeah.
Spend some more time on me for
You
a
want
while.
to travel? Oh, hey, hold on a second. Ring, ring. All sinners of the world, sorry, you're all condemned to hell forever because Mary wants to travel. Did I have that right?
The path to heaven is closed because Mary wants to take the road to Damascus.
Yeah, because she wants to eat, pray, love her way across this desert wasteland and find herself. Hope you enjoy the fires of hell. Am I getting that right, Mary?
But I want to see Athens.
Here's the fun part. There was so much consent asked when the angel said, this will happen and you will name him Jesus. She didn't even get to pick the name. You think she got to pick whether this happened or not?
What the hell are you talking about? I was thinking Hunter.
No, his name will be Jesus. I'm an angel flying in the air right now. Do as we say.
Oh, so now you're angel splaining. Nice.
Look, God's been planning this for a very long time.
Yeah.
She specifically says, I am the Lord's servant, which is what you say when you're consenting to
Right,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's...
Whatever you want to do.
Hey, honey, would you like to be my servant tonight in the bedroom?
A separate note, I will just tell you this. This whole thing is centered on this idea of consent as it exists in the leftist paradigm. We wouldn't have this problem if we approach sexuality, sexual practices, the moral way. Obviously, as a Christian, you believe that it's supposed to be within the confines of marriage. If you're in a monogamous, loving relationship, consent is not only not perpetually needed, but I will tell you this, it's kind of gay. And what I mean by that...
See, I wasn't the one that said it. You were the one that said it.
Is no woman who loves you the way that you're attracted to one wants to be like, okay, so sweetheart, is it okay? It used to be, once you get married, once you say I do, or you pull the lady in for a kiss and things continue moving, that is seen as consent. Now we've ruined the sexual dynamics of a man pursuing a woman. Women don't like that. Women, you can comment if you think... Women like to have a man who takes charge. I'm not talking about abuse. Let's just say what we all know to be true. The idea of consent as it currently exists, which is really designed to put more landmines down, in the area of intersexual dynamics, it's kind of a vibe kill. It's kind of gay, and condoms are for losers. Now,
well, yeah, you get the last part right.
Yeah.
And cigarettes make you look cool.
There's look.
They do.
Science is in.
They're gross, but they look cool.
So this is what they do. They create an issue, right? My body, my choice. Abortion all the way up until and including birth, on demand, taxpayer funded, period. Who changed safe, legal, and rare? Wasn't us. And then they go, why are you making it such a big issue? Well, because there's 10 to 15,000 late-term abortions a year. You say very small numbers. That's significant to me. They'll do this. They'll say, hey, we want to change the entire paradigm, the entire gender spectrum, and put biological males in with women. And if you oppose it, they go, why are you making this an issue? Well, I'll tell you what the biggest issues are to Texas voters. This comes from Emerson. It's the economy. They say threats to democracy and immigration. And if beans should go in chili, which will be decided the Texas way. There you go.
Don't put beans in your Texas chili.
No.
I'm not even from Texas. I know that.
It's true, but I like beans and chili.
You like
you
the
would.
dish. You like the dish with beans in it. It's just not chili.
Not chili. Yeah, exactly.
And this isn't a debate. I grew up where I always had beans and chili, but I found out it is an actual state food stuff where it has a very clear definition.
Correct.
And if you want to call it fusion, whatever, and it's not even like pineapple on pizza, that's a whole preference thing. Beans don't go in chili. It's a Texas food, and it does not include it.
Fine. That's fair.
And if you say otherwise, they will kill you. So,
but only if you have a midriff as a man.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. In this sentiment, it reflects America at large, American voters at large. There have been recent polls that have come where you see deportation support sometimes as high as, I saw a number yesterday, 63%, whereas opposing it, 30-something%. The only group opposing it as a majority were Democrats, meaning independents supported it as a majority. And you'll see fluctuations across the board sometimes if you get down to the method of doing it. But Americans understand the economy is important. Immigration is important. But I repeat myself, the issue is you cannot force an agenda. For example, you can't have drag queen story hour. You cannot put pornography in children's libraries and then say that those requesting it be removed, namely because there was never pornography in public children's libraries, that they're turning it into an issue. The left, they love to use the word gaslighting because they're all pop psychologists. This is that. So we say, yeah, we want to focus on the economy. We want to focus on immigration. Oh, wait a second. You want to make it so all states have to allow abortion? Well, no, we're going to fight against that. It doesn't mean that it's our priority. It means that it's a non-starter. And this sort of brings us to our next issue here, key issue, immigration. We'll be talking with a Texas AG here in a few moments. Students walking out of school to protest ICE. Here's a montage.
I hate this sound.
We'll never be divided. The people united will never be divided.
You're divided right now.
Poor crutch guy's like, today of all days.
Yeah.
No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA. No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA. No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA. No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Where?
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Where are they getting KKK?
I don't know.
That's two different states, by the way. They're saying the same chant. These sheep, these Democrat sheep, their shepherds are telling them to say KKK, fascist USA.
Well, they needed a rhyme.
What?
So.
They needed a rhyme, and they're completely unaware that
they should teach them about the KKK and who was.
It was a wing of the Democrat Party, but it was Strom Thurmond. Shut up. And you also have students, by the way, it's made its way to Texas, which is generally seen as a reliably red state. But, look, kids obviously have the right to make their voices heard as long as we keep in the back of our mind that kids are very often stupid.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Go, badass. We got to go. Hey. Okay, hey.
What happened to United?
What?
Wait, how warm is it there that she was in jorts?
Just Chrysler 300 after Chrysler 300.
Yeah. How much you want to bet that those kids don't know what it is they're protesting? They're looking for any reason to simply walk out of class. And just so you know, the first to change my mind that I ever did, it wasn't on campus. Or either the first or second one. It was just meant to take place. We've done plenty of them on sidewalks. The first one that I did on campus, I remember it's because they were talking about campus protests and the media was covering it. They had it on a loop, like a morphine drip. And so they were holding these people out as inspirations, as authorities in the subject. And I said, well, okay, let's go down and see how much these inspired people know. It wasn't specifically to debate campus students. That's why we've also had an open call out to professors. We'll be having that actually, as I understand it, in the next coming quarter at
a couple of months. Yeah.
Is it going to be at UPenn? As I understand,
that's where the talks are right now.
But it does matter because the left constantly uses the youth as pawns, and they're really valuable pawns. Why? Well, they don't have skin in the game. They don't pay taxes. They don't know what that's like. They don't have families. They're very self-focused. They're not thinking about their families and their family's future. They're often very centered around immediate gratification. They're very easy to manipulate.
They want to leave their stamp on the world.
Right. They want to leave their stamp on the world often before they have reached the point of their life where they're qualified to do it. And it doesn't mean that young people can't change the world, and it doesn't mean that there aren't some incredibly bright young people. That's not what I was seeing out there. You're still here on YouTube. Remember when we could say whatever we wanted on YouTube, and people didn't have to censor out words like gay? See, even that, right? That's not even a swear word. Or the word sex. Even if you're just talking about it, you're not saying anything profane. That's why I live stream on Rumble 5 days a week. Go subscribe over there on Rumble, where you get the live show every single day. If you're still using this archaic form of delivery for information on YouTube, I don't want to judge, but your father hates you.